If you thought we were going an entire week without talking to Dr. Ursini and having a little educational episode, you thought wrong. So today is episode 4 about laminitis. This will be the final episode of what we are now calling the Vol Vet Review. So Dr. Ursini is going to wrap up the laminitis series. They're going to do a little bit of a Q&A, and she brought on the University of Tennessee farrier who actually worked on Seven so much while he had his stay there. So I'm going to give it over to them.
Hi again, I'm Dr. Tina Ursini from the University of Tennessee College of Vet Med. Two exciting things to announce today. We finally came up with a name for this series, so we're going to call it the Vol Vet Review. So welcome to that. Today we're going to talk about the Q&As that we've gotten from the laminitis series that we've posted so far. We've got our farrier Jeremy Davis here to help us with answering those questions. And without further ado, we're just going to get right into it. So Jeremy, are any hooved animals, can they all get laminitis? Like a deer or a cow or a donkey?
Yeah, so all hooved animals can get laminitis. However, deer, cattle, most of your cloven-footed animals, it's much less common in those. It's very common in horses. Most all donkeys, especially donkeys in the southeast where we've got a lot of grass to eat, most of them have had it or probably will get it, unfortunately.
Yeah, the great part about donkeys is they actually tolerate it okay because they're a little bit smaller creatures. So another question that's come up multiple times is, what does it look like to feed an EMS horse or equine metabolic syndrome horse? Again, basic principles is we have to decrease the sugar as much as possible. That usually means not a single blade of green grass, not a single blade, ever, ever, ever again. Now, we can talk about safe strategies for pasture turnout once we're way beyond the insult, but that's really what it needs to be. There is no turnout on pasture ever again if you want the safest, risk-free aspect of that. If you have a hay that's too high in sugar, after you've tested it, we can soak it in water to then bring that sugar content down. But that's a lifelong commitment. So again, at the very onset of disease, we got to talk about management going forward. As a caveat to that, so then in West Tennessee, there was a question of, are there certain grasses that have more or less sugar? So we don't have a certain type or species of grass that seems to be always low in sugar, and that's why it's really important to test your forage for sugar content so you know exactly where it is. The cutting, the environment that the grass grew in, all of that feeds into how much sugar is in this actual hay, and so it's really, really important to have it tested.
And what about if the horse is living out in pasture? Are there certain times of day or certain lengths of grass we need to be more aware of?
Yeah, so it's that really rapid growth grass that we need to be careful of, and for sure, you know, there are safer times when the sugar level in the grass dips. So usually that dusk till dawn is what we kind of tell people is mostly safe. Really stay out of when the sun is high. And we have a lot of rapid growth and a lot of photosynthesis going on, the sugar content is going to be way up in the grass leaf. So it's never ever absolutely safe, but that is safer. Now, ideally, again, those horses would be on a dry lot. So that was another question that we had, is if you don't have a dry lot, is muzzling an option? And unfortunately, this was a very fun study people did in ponies, and unless you restrict their time on pasture to 3 hours or less, those little gluttons are just going to eat longer. So unfortunately, just putting a muzzle on and keeping them turned out 24/7, they just spend less time resting and more time eating. How often, Jeremy, if we have a horse that is in the recovery stage or we're working through the acute into the recovery stage, how often do you want to see those horses as a farrier aspect?
So on a laminitic horse, I want to see the farrier at least every 4 weeks. So what I tell people is dealing with a laminitic horse is kind of like steering a large ship or a cruise ship. It's easier to make small corrections routinely than it is to let it get way off course and try to fix it. So in that 3 to 4 week range is ideal for a laminitic horse. Once we get past the initial insult, we might talk about stretching out to 5 or 6, but on laminitic episodes, never beyond 6.
Thanks for listening today, guys. We are going to start another series going forward. It'll be similar parts like we did the laminitis. And I think we decided we're going to stay in the farrier realm, stay in the foot, and we'll talk about navicular disease. So we'll see you next week.
So I hope you enjoyed that. It has now been an entire month of Baby 7 being home. And we have so enjoyed the knowledge that is still coming to us from Dr. Ursini and those at the University of Tennessee. And I cannot wait to hear the series coming about navicular disease. And we would love to still hear what you would like to hear about and learn about with us in further videos. So
okay, we're out in the foal pasture right now with the 5 remaining foals who are still on their mama's side. So we've got Woody who likes to insert himself into situations. And then we have Margot, who she's sometimes best friends with Cheyenne. They're also sisters, but she's a little more on the like mama's girl side, which makes sense. She's got mama issues, but not issues. You know what I'm saying? Like mama trauma, more so. Anyway, Woody would be in here with us if possible. He's not really giving me much to show you because he's so on top of us right now. But he is out of my thoroughbred mare Indy and by my stallion VS Code Red. We're gonna have to move. Let's go see Benedict because he's sleeping. He's sleeping like a sweet little baby boy. I'm not sure if Lexi was a maiden when she had Benedict, but if she was, I'm happy to see that she's not so helicopter mommy and she's letting him go be by himself. Oh Lord. Okay. What are we doing? Those mare ears. That's hilarious. You tell him, Margot. We haven't gotten to see a whole lot of Benedict with the later babies, so that's an interesting dynamic. But Gunner, stop! Gunner is my only baby by Denver this year. So he is by my young stallion First Things First, and his mama is a homebred baby that I raised 11 years ago. Oh, hello! You're coming to say hello. I feel like we're in Jurassic Park.
I know.
Oh, look at them. Gunner, come here. Oh, yeah, we're like in the danger zone. Easy. Easy. Look, he's being, oh my gosh. Gunner.
I think it's time we figure out what this little girl's register name is going to be. For those that don't know, all of my miniature horses are registered, either through AMHR, AMHA, both, or a couple of mine are also registered ASPC, which is the Shetland Pony Club. Gidget here will be registered with AMHA and AMHR. And to do that, we have to figure out a name. So just like with my big horses, the names have to be unique. There cannot be another horse with that registered name in that association. Luckily, I have a prefix with my big horses, and then I have started doing a starter to all of my miniature foals. So Running Springs will be at the very beginning of the name. So we know that it has to start with Running Springs, but we could incorporate some of her mama's characteristics from her name. We could use some of her sire's name. So she is by ERL Cuddy Rocks the House. So we could use a word like rocks, house. Karen's name is Los Arbos Silverhawk, and she is a daughter of the legendary Nighthawk. So we could use Silver, Hawk, Nighthawk. All of those words could be in combination to make Gidget's name. Or we could go completely off book and just do something for Gidget. Like I saw someone suggest Go Go Gidget, and I thought that was the cutest thing ever. So I'm not opposed to doing something completely away from her parents' names as well, but I do plan on keeping Gidget for those that were worried that we were gonna have to part with her. We will have to part with her, but it'll only be to go to training. So it probably at like the end of the year or the very beginning of next year, she'll go to Ocala to training where Miss Gretchen and Jack, her older brother, are. So one day when she goes to horse shows, that'll be the name that she's referred to as when she's hopefully winning. So what do we think? Do we want to go traditional and incorporate her dam line or her sire line? You know, one thing to consider, this might very well be Karen's last baby ever. She's 18. I haven't decided quite yet. We'll see what she looks like next year as far as if we think that a pregnancy will be healthy for her in another year or so. But this could very well be her last filly as well. So, you know, do we do an ode to Karen in her name by using Silverhawk or Nighthawk? I don't know, just something to think about. Karen also has multiple foals who have turned into fantastic show horses or breeding horses. I believe she has at least one son who is used at stud. Chandler Marks, who I got them from, has some of her fillies still as brood mares. So yeah, I mean, she's already left behind quite the legacy, but Gidget might be the end of it. Jury's out on that, but let me know your name ideas.